Commission of Inquiry to investigate on BNN FOREX losses. New immigration system to be implemented in 2021. Good afternoon, I'm Zalakar Ismail and you're watching News on 2. The government has officially announced the formation of a Royal Commission of Inquiry or RCI to investigate the foreign exchange of forex losses suffered by Bank Negara in the 1990s. According to a statement issued by the Prime Minister's office, Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Muhammad V has approved the formation of the RCI as well as matters related to its membership and scope of duties. The RCI will be chaired by former Chief Secretary to the government, Tan Sri Muhammad Siddiq Hassan, who previously headed the special task force formed in February to perform an initial probe into the losses that allegedly amounted to billions of ringgit. Tan Sri Muhammad Siddiq will be assisted by 5 other members. They include High Court Judge Datuk Wira Kamaluddin Mat Said, Bursa Malaysia Chief Executive Officer Datuk Sri Tajuddin Atan, and Special Task Force to Facilitate Business Pemuda Co-Chairman Tan Sri Saw Chu Boon. The other two are Malaysian Institute of Accountants member K. Puspanathan and Finance Ministry Strategic Investment Division Director Datuk Dr. Yusof Ismail. The RCI will be responsible for verifying the allegations that Bank Negara had experienced significant losses resulting from foreign currency transactions in the 1990s and its implications to the national economy. The Putrajaya Islamic Complex, or KIP, which unifies 11 religious agencies, proves that the government always strives to put Islam at its highest level by providing the best infrastructure for the realization of the development of the country. According to Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, this development shows that Malaysia has not failed in terms of the Islamic development or infrastructure facilities for the people. Datuk Sri Najib said the centralisation of religious agencies in a complex was also in line with the government's intention to improve the delivery of services to the people and to become an example to other countries.
Kompleks ini akan menjadi kompleks pentadbiran Islam yang unggul dan sempurna dari aspek sama ada dari segi tadbir urusnya, pembangunan insan, prasarana dan sebagainya.
Datuk Sri Najib said Malaysia has become an example to other countries by placing Islam in its rightful position and rejecting perceptions that the religion is in any way associated with violence, conflicts or mass killings. Malaysia will implement the futuristic National Immigration Control System or SKIN in 2021. SKIN is a comprehensive and integrated platform that will modernize the core applications and infrastructure in the country's immigration control system. In today's challenging global security atmosphere, a more efficient border control and immigration system is vital, especially with the emerging threats of terrorism and human trafficking. Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zaid said the government hoped there will be zero defects in the new system following the controversial sabotage of the Malaysian immigration system, MyIMS.
Biarpun pelaksanaan sepenuhnya akan dilakukan pada tahun 2021, sistem yang sedia ada akan terus dimantapkan. Dan apabila pelaksanaannya kelak, sistem yang ada akan disatukan dan pemodenan serta penambahbaikan akan dilakukan dan kita akan memastikan tidak ada sebarang kekangan, jauh sekali sebarang sabotaj dilakukan terhadap sistem penyampaian kepada rakyat melalui pemegang konsesi yang ada ataupun sistem yang sedia ada.
Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zaid, who is also Home Minister, was speaking at the signing ceremony of the SKIN Concession Agreement yesterday. The agreement was signed by Home Ministry Secretary General Datuk Sri Alwi Ibrahim and Presta Riang Berhad President and Chief Executive Officer Dr. Abu Hassan Ismail. And later, at a dinner held in conjunction with the Undergraduate Parliament Session 2017, Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zaid urged all undergraduates to strike a balance between formal and informal education in order to create good future leaders. He said that the country's education system does not only focus on tutorials, lectures and paperwork alone, but also off-campus exposure so that students will be ready once they graduate and face the real world.
Kebanyakan pemimpin, sama ada di dalam politik atau sektor korporat ataupun lain-lain bidang, lazimnya bukan hanya yang mempunyai first class honors saja yang boleh menjadi CEO atau menjadi tokoh-tokoh utama di dalam pelbagai bidang. Tetapi mereka yang berada di puncak kejayaan di mana-mana organisasi adalah terdiri daripada mahasiswa sewaktu di kampusnya mempunyai keseimbangan, iaitu intelektual dan pendedahan di luar kampus.
FELDA is committed to weed out corruption and abuse of power by any of its officers. Chairman Tan Sri Syahrir Abdul Samad said it will give its full cooperation to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC to expose corrupt practices by any of its officers regardless of rank and file.
Ini semua kita kena serah kepada MACC kan, SPRM kan. Kami kalau kena panggil kita pergilah kan. Jadi itu kerjasama sepenuhnya daripada FELDA.
Tan Sri Syahrir was asked to comment on the MACC raid on Balai FELDA over the purchase of a 4-star hotel in Kensington, London by FIC, the investment arm of FELDA. He urged all parties to support and allow MACC to conduct a thorough investigation. He said this at the FELDA Global Ventures Holdings Berhad FGV Hari Raya Open House held in Putrajaya last night. The government will study in depth a request by the Indian Muslim community to be recognized as Bumiputras. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, however, explained that the matter of how it would be implemented required further research in terms of administration or gazettement. Datuk Sri Najib said he acknowledged the requests made by the Federation of Malaysian Indian Muslim Associations or PERMIM President Tajuddin Shahul and added that Indian Muslims can be considered as Bumiputras. PERMIM had also requested for a Muslim Indian landmark to be set up in Kuala Lumpur or Putrajaya and for a special officer to be appointed in the Prime Minister's department to manage the affairs of the Indian Muslim community in the country.
Bagaimana ia dilaksanakan, kita akan kaji lebih mendalam lagi. Sama ada dari segi pentadbiran ataupun dengan cara yang dikendaki sebentar tadi, iaitu melalui pewartaan. Namun hakikatnya tuan-tuan adalah Bumiputera.
Datuk Sri Najib said this at the Ministry of Domestic Trade, Cooperatives and Consumerism KPD and KK Aidul Fitri Open House with Malaysian Indian Muslim non-governmental organisations in Serdang, Selangor last night. The Court of Appeal has allowed the Election Commission's appeal to set aside a Malacca High Court decision which allowed leave to 7 voters in Malacca to challenge the ongoing delineation exercise. A 3-man Court of Appeal panel chaired by Datuk Umi Kalthum Abdul Majid unanimously made the decision after agreeing with Senior Federal Counsel Datuk Amarjit Singh's submissions today. The other panels who presided were Datuk Hasna Muhammad Hashim and Datuk Idrus Harun. On May 3rd, the Malacca High Court granted a leave application for a judicial review by residents of the Kota Malacca and Bukit Katil parliamentary constituencies to challenge the EC's ongoing redelineation exercise. Similar cases to challenge the EC's redelineation exercise were also heard in Selangor and Perak High Courts. Dato' Amarjit acted for the EC while the 7 voters were represented by lawyer S. Ambiga. And still ahead, 935 million ringgit to develop All-American International School in Johor. The National Transformation 2050 or TN50 roadmap would prepare the people to face the 4th Industrial Revolution. According to Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, the 4th Industrial Revolution has threatened the age-old business models today, especially in a cashless and credit cardless society.
What we need to do.
Citing China, Datuk Sri Najib said one could use a smartphone to buy everything, either at the bazaars or online like Amazon, which was more convenient.
So that's the nature of the very disruptive changes that we need to prepare our people for. And therefore, that begs the question, what kind of skill set that's required? And this is where I think we need your views as well. How do we prepare for that imminent coming of that age, which we already see signs of it in many countries, and Malaysia will not be exempted from it.
Datuk Sri Najib was speaking at the TN50 Roundtable Dialogue with Malaysian scientists in Putrajaya yesterday. Shatak St. Mary, a 935 million ringgit international school with an all-American co-curriculum, will take up a spot in the 9.4 hectare Forest City educational hub. The school is slated to start enrolling between 150 and 180 students, ranging from preschoolers to high school level, for its first phase of development beginning August next year. Country Garden Pacific View CGPV Sdn Bhd Executive Director Datuk Mat Othman Yusof said the school project was divided in 3 phases over a 5-year development plan. He added that the school will also have a theatrette and a visual arts centre, which will be an enriching learning experience for students to have the best of both worlds in education and arts.
Di sini kita juga fikirkan yang di education mainkan peranan dalam pembangunan projek kita ni, because with this dan kita rasa dengan adanya Shatak ni one of the first American school dekat Malaysia, Shatak pun the first set up dengan Forest City di sini, kita yakin akan dapat banyak lagi membawa kepada migration pelajar-pelajar ke Johor.
He was speaking to reporters at the groundbreaking ceremony of Shatak St. Mary, witnessed by State Health, Environment, Education and Information Committee Chairman Dato' Ayub Rahman. And coming up in sports, Selangor held off spirited JDT comeback to win a 3-2 win in added time. Despite being the overwhelming favourites for the men's and women's hockey SEA Games gold medals, Malaysia will not take lightly the threats from other teams, especially Thailand and Singapore.
In recent times is hanging on to possession.
National hockey captain Muhammad Sukri Abdul Muttalib has ensured that his team will not become complacent, as the SEA Games is Southeast Asia's biggest sporting event. The national hockey team also promised not to disappoint local fans. Meanwhile, women's hockey captain Nadia Abdul Rahman also singled out Thailand as their main challengers to the Southeast Asian Champions title. She said the mixture of field and indoor hockey players for this year's squad does not affect the team's preparations. The women's team also vowed to give their best to defend the gold medal. Amri Yahya fired home a brace, including an added time penalty, as Selangor held off a spirited comeback from Johor Darul Takzim JDT to win a 3-2 in the Malaysia Cup at Selayang Stadium last night. The victory takes the 33-time champions above big spending JDT at the top of Group D. Johor took control of the opening stages through S. Chanturu, who was trying to make inroads from the right wing. The Red Giants, who can defend deep when they need to, absorbed the pressure and soon began to take control of the match. The hosts' possession paid off in the 33rd minute when Selangor defender Fairoz Abdul Aziz headed them in front from a corner. 2 minutes later, it was former JDT winger Amri's turn to find the net. Francis Forkido teed up the veteran attacker with a nice through ball, and Amri made no mistake to bury his shot past young Haziq Nazli in the JDT goal. That strike meant Selangor went into the break cruising at 2-0. JDT coach Ulysses Morris swiftly made changes to get his side back in the game. Ahmad Hazwan Bakri later reduced the deficit, turning home an Afiq Fazal cross to make it 2-1. Buoyed by the goal, the visitors poured forward in numbers and were level in the 70th minute through substitute Darren Locke. But just as the match looked to be heading for a draw, Selangor earned an injury time penalty after there was foul in the box. Amri slotted home from the spot to condemn JDT to their first loss in the competition and take control of the group.